it is a composition that if it falls behind a little bit, can be worrisome, you know, having enough damage to actually get things done. And Golden Guardians are going for this composition that can really kind of just pop up anywhere. You have Kiev ultimate plus the Nocturne ultimate, long range engage from the Ornn, and these ultimates can all get dropped to pick off anyone from Cloud9 who's looking to fight in the jungle, who's looking to fight in the side lane. And this does feel like a composition from Golden Guardians that is designed to scrap and to meet Cloud9 where they look to fight you, because any team that wants to have a chance against Cloud9 is going to have to be willing to take those fights. You cannot sit back and seed objectives, give up everything that Cloud9 wants to fight for, or they will just run you over.
And the big thing I want to point out is that Nocturne has a really favorable matchup around the Galio. You turn the lights off and he can't ult back to your teammates. So when TF says, hey, let's go kill an Aphelios, and the lights turn out from Closer, you don't get to let Nisqy show up. You don't get to teleport down there from Licorice and the Volibear. He no longer has the help. It's just Zven and Vulcan hoping it's gonna be enough, and Aphelios doesn't always have the tools to kite it out. So I really like what Nocturne does right there. I'm a little surprised that ban didn't come out as a champion that we will see occasionally and does have some favorable interactions when you see a Galio mid.
Yeah, it is a really good point, you know, and I think it puts a lot more pressure on those Cloud9 solo laners to teleport instantly. You have to make such quick decisions against Nocturne. If you see the other team posturing like you think they're about to engage, if you see, you know, teleport coming in from Hauntzer, you've got to be so fast and make sure you can get that off before the Nocturne ultimate comes through. And that's also where it's on Golden Guardians to execute quickly on that, to not have telegraph plays, to, you know, have it somewhat hidden that you're going to be looking for this, so that Cloud9, hopefully, for their sake, can't respond appropriately. Because if you're not able to get that clean engage off, and the Galio comes in, the Trundle answers, you know, all these champions are creating space for Zven, he is definitely a player, and he is definitely on a champion that can run over a team fight.
Absolutely the case there. I mean, Aphelios, if you get the right guns for the right situation, he is the perfect champion in that spot. Sometimes you have the wrong guns for the right situation. You know, when they're on top of you and you're on Sniper plus Infernum, you're like, well, I can AoE the Nocturne or snipe him from melee range. Really would have liked red gun here, you know? So that is kind of how it works with Aphelios. That will be another sort of piece to add some texture how these fights go. Sweeper used. Blaber steals 10 gold from Licorice. Not the worst thing ever, but it is money left on the table. But they're pushing in, and actually they might get the second. Unlikely they get it. It depends how much they're stopped. At least there is vision, but it does mean the jungle invade becomes a blue steal, and Blaber going to be ahead in the jungle.
Cloud9 is just so smart with how they play out the early games. They recognize that they have way more power than this Ornn Nocturne combo with the Volibear and the Trundle. You know, both these champions with effectively auto attack resets, you know, using the Volibear W, the Q obviously from the Trundle. That is not a matchup that you're going to win 2v2 there as Golden Guardians, so they've got to completely give that up. Closer has to walk all the way across the map, start a leashless red buff, which obviously is doable, but already you're delaying that level 6, you know, as that Nocturne. And this is something that Cloud9 is really good at kind of doing and peeling apart the win conditions of their opponents. You know, when we saw them go up against EG yesterday, we saw how heavily
that's Ghost Pop, though. Damonte, next gold card might force a flash. It's going to be up right now. Blue for the poke. He didn't want to walk in a turret range to land a gold card, but Nisqy would just TP back to lane. But it is Ghost Burn for the extra damage. It's going to force Nisqy to burn his teleport to lane early, and that is a great early trade for Damonte.
Yeah, really well done. Just, you know, utilizing those auto attacks, getting a great trade-off in that range versus melee matchup. Galio, in the early levels, doesn't really have a lot to trade back with. So very well played there by Damonte, but, you know, again, we saw what Cloud9 did to Jizuke yesterday, you know, on that cast, and how heavily they shut him down, delayed the 6, delayed the scaling, and that's something that they're going to want to try to do here with Closer 2. Delay the level 6 as much as possible, track him post 6, and we're getting to see Licorice show off some of that early trading on the Volibear. This is a very advantageous matchup for Volibear into that Ornn, and it becomes, you know, one of those games where, again, Blaber is going to have, you know, pushing topside that is going to allow him to get aggressive. But now, Closer's up here.
Level 2, 3 camps, easy stun Licorice. He's moving fast, but there's almost no way flash. Man, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. Closer could not find it. He flashed at the wrong time as Licorice got away. And give him the old school gauntlet thumbs up. That gank should have been better.
Yeah, but Closer was level 2. I don't even think he had his Fear Tether. He was level
No.
2 when he went for that gank. He leveled up after one of those minions dying, so they needed perhaps a little bit more patience. And now Blaber going to try to make him pay on the bot side.
Flash follow, easy stun. The flash is late. The Q's gonna land, and the kill comes through. Blaber is on the scoreboard, shows him how it's done. Had a 2-camp lead coming in. Gets the first blood in the bottom lane.
Very well done. Notice how he actually waited to proc the Braum stun before utilizing the pillar, to force out an additional move block essentially there. Zven even holding onto the sniper Q to try to shoot into that stun. He didn't quite have the range, but Cloud9 playing that out very, very well, and already, paying dividends from that early invade. Closer wasn't level 3 for his gank, or he would have got a kill. Then you're down a couple camps already. Blaber makes a gank work on that bottom side. Here it is once more. Braum stun into the pillar. FBI has got to kind of like waddle through. He blocked the Q.
Yeah, huhi walked in to block the Q, which is why Zven had to flash for the root. So that was a nice play by huhi to force a flash into Zven. But obviously good gank. Another fight in the top side. Licorice temporarily down on XP, but hits 4, I believe, as a minion died as he was next to the wave, and fight goes out okay for him.
Yeah, very well done. And it's kind of the extended trades. Ornn has great upfront damage, with his burst, and when you're proccing the brittle into these melee matchups especially, you can have a really nice first couple seconds of the trade. But as the trade continues, Conqueror stacks for the Volibear, you get your second W out, you're then kind of hitting into the E shield and so on and so forth from the Ornn. That is where Volibear will really start to win out. So, Hauntzer's got to be careful that when he goes for those trades, he has the ability to disengage afterwards and to make sure that it's not going to be a really extended trade where Licorice can get the best of it.
Ooh, the flash into the stun, the immediate follow through. Zven's ignited. He's going to run back and get that shield. The other shield comes up for Vulcan, but the true damage punch. Haymaker making some hay for Golden Guardians. Cash on demand. As Blaber comes down to the bottom lane. Licorice already here. TP coming back in. This is going to be quite the fight. A double stun for huhi. FBI's in danger, but he's able to kite it back as Toasted Fate comes over, at least for some vision as well. A punch comes in, and that's going to be pretty solid. Good fight there. Golden Guardians comfortable in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that is really nice from Golden Guardians. Just great presence of mind to know you can actually go for that fight. You have the TP from your top laner. Damonte has the level 6 and can look to join up. So they make the punish happen. Vulcan was on a little bit of a roaming mission, getting some wards down. And Zven feeling a little bit too safe, a little bit too confident. Gets caught by that flash, the Nimbus cloak available there for huhi, and is able to clap him back in and just barely get enough damage with that ignite true damage plus the W true damage hitting with that center blow. But Cloud9 will be able to trade back and grab a first dragon.
This game is a little bit less farm-centric on the junglers. Blaber getting a minute later dragon than he often gets on Olaf. Obviously, he's still useful in this game, not trying to throw any shade, but obviously Trundle, a different champion from Olaf, does different things, includes much less quickly, but huhi, basically just walks in the brush. He's on a ward, and he's like, nah, that's enough for me.
Yep, I mean, Nimbus Cloak, can be surprising, that extra speed, and the thing that really triggered it is actually that river ward that you could see in the top left of your screen. They saw where the Braum was. Vulcan was walking across that. As soon as they saw that, they went for it immediately. Licorice with the quick TP because Blaber is moving down, but they don't quite have the damage here. The Ornn comes through, lands the double knockup. They just burst down Licorice, who had no flash, so he just gets absolutely lit up. And with TF able to pop that ultimate there as well, there was no chance of a continued fight.
Yeah, he got betrayed by his own Trundle pillar. Right? Ornn shows up like, there's terrain in the middle of the lane. This is great, and gets like the 2 knockup right there. It was pretty beautiful stuff. Smart by FBI to kite back into the lane, saying, okay, well, if melees are fighting me, I want to sit by their minion wave so that my support Sett can stun. And ensure the targets are there to get more crowd control. I think huhi got a 3-man stun on the Sett. He's doing really well. This is great stuff out of the Golden Guardians bottom lane. I think Damonte's ult got canceled by Nisqy. I think he popped the button and was like, oh, I can't show because Nisqy's going to hit me with this one. But regardless, this is now an early gold lead to Golden Guardians. Blaber is going to go ahead and get his own side of the jungle there, going on his red buff. And this is the first, so far, I feel, close game. I will say, FlyQuest actually had a very good early game with Cloud9 as well. It's not that Cloud9 had been completely crushing for minute one every time, but it is good to see other teams leveling up to be able to contest Cloud9 in the early game.
Yep, and no closer is 6 here. They're looking to try to threaten the dive. They know they want to keep down Zven. If Zven is doing poorly, Cloud9's composition is going to get really bad really quick here because there's such reliance on his damage. And, you know, not that he has bad farm by any means. I mean, he's still farming well. But, you know, we have seen Cloud9 absolutely dominate in that bottom lane, you know, a lot of times over this past year. So just the fact that, you know, they are not ahead is a good thing for Golden Guardians, and they're going to continue to look to keep that global pressure up, which their bottom lane really is respecting right now. And Nisqy obviously was not in position to match any sort of gank just yet, so Zven and Vulcan just completely backed off the turret, waited for the wave to come to that turret before even trying to farm.
Yep, half of the Rod of Ages done for Damonte, waiting for the Kavine. Cost money here as the pieces of Proto Belt are in inventory for Nisqy. Obviously, not as much gold as Twisted Fate. Here comes the instant ult going to try to dive. This one, stun comes over. TF from the top as well. The flash follow. And they ensure that 4 people are there to hit Blaber. No chance to answer. Lights out the entire time. Nisqy could not ult in.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Blaber was thinking. You know, maybe thought that Nisqy would be able to get the ult out sooner and then that fight would look different. But let's be honest, the bot lane for Golden Guardians was closer to that fight. Closer was already there. You know TF has his ulti and he was not in position to be interrupted by Nisqy. So that was a very poor fight to actually take from Blaber. And, you know, seeing some of those mistakes that can plague him at times. You know, he is a very, very consistent player overall, but he rarely sees a fight he doesn't like. And Trundle doesn't necessarily have the most ability to outplay in a lot of these situations, like sometimes he can on other champs.
Well, this is interesting. This is something that you were talking about. We were talking about Cloud9 before this game started, and you were saying, you know, teams can't really expect to challenge Cloud9 if they're not willing to play aggressively. It's not a team where you can really sit back and expect to win a more defensive game style. And this is a very aggressive early game out of Golden Guardians. Hauntzer, of course, doing his best to hold up. This matchup seems very Volibear favored, so okay, sure, you're down some CS. That's just kind of the way this works. But the rest of the table, you know, a lot of pressure in the bottom lane. We've seen the bot lane get in on a couple of kills here, both on the opposing bot lane and the opposing jungler. Damonte is doing really well in farm. We saw the early 1v1 that Nisqy kind of opted into. This is looking quite good for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they've drafted the tools to make these fights happen, and, you know, they have been able to execute on it. So far, so good for them. You know, yes, Closer did get put pretty far behind and kind of an unfortunate early game, you know, losing his blue buff, you know, not making that gank happen because he was down a level somewhat as a result. But he has caught right back up, essentially, in the farm, you know, gets that kill executed on his first ultimate, which is always very, very important as Nocturne. You know, usually your kind of ideal Nocturne game is pretty much AFK farming until your ult is up and then getting a kill and rinsing and repeating. So being able to get that early kill under his belt, yes, he didn't get the killing blow, but who cares? And he has the warrior completed. He has the Nocturne ult up and ready to go again. So I want to see them continuing to look for these fights. You know, don't sit back, don't be passive. Every time TF ult is up, every time Nocturne ult is up, you've got to go at Cloud9.
Well, they're going at it right now. The fight right there. Blaber was next to the lane, and it still didn't matter. Vulcan had to walk away from that one. Now Trumble's up. Kill comes through.
Yeah, you love to see it. This is exactly what Golden Guardians needs to do. And now popping the Ghost here, trying to chase down Nisqy.
Legitimately could be more. He had the Ghost on. It finally times out. Nisqy does some nice plays here. Damonte gets chunked, gets a stun, and says, all right, I guess I'm walking away. His jungler support on the other side, and Licorice had priority on the Volibear. Chasing in a top river, not the easy one because the Voli gets to go first. So it goes back to wave clearing, and end of the day, still a kill, nothing lost.
Yeah, and at the very least, he actually prevented any possibility of Galio ulting top. Because remember, Volibear had the push, and you can turn off that tower, so they could have looked for a kill, but now it is huhi engaging and TF coming in.
This time the Galio can show, but is it going to be enough? Damonte's forced to run back with his Zven and Vulcan, going to find themselves a stun. Nisqy's on top, Blaber's there as well. That's fine, they're going to make sure the kill goes over. They donate it to Zven. A good play here. Nice chunk of damage, good kill, and Cloud9 are going to get more. Plates are up. Herald is summoned, and if they spend any effort at all, that is the entire turret down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, Golden Guardians have got to leave. You stay around here, you're just going to die.
Wow, they want a lot. Huhi finds a stun. They nearly get the kill. They get Blaber. You've got to be kidding me. Zven gets one back, though, and it's going to be Nisqy. Forced to stopwatch. Can they get the rest? Closer into melee range. Protobalt comes up, finds a knockup. Does he find the trade? It's not going to be all that they wanted. The turret is turned off. Here comes Volibear, and Licorice gets that one. Hauntzer left alone, stunned up, can't find much more. The overall kill difference remains just the one, but what a fight. What a bloodbath down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, this one going very heavily in Cloud9's favor. I think Golden Guardians staying around way too long, you know, really wanting to defend that first turret, trying to force it, trying to make it happen, but not quite having enough to do so. Huhi did an admirable job getting a lot of members low, buying a lot of time with that stopwatch, but it's a really risky play after the initial fight did go the way of Cloud9 for them to stay around. So here it is one more time. Damonte, you know, ulting in. Vulcan, though, obviously in position to block a lot of the damage. The exhaust was down. Nisqy is already here. And once Damonte dies and the Rift Herald gets dropped, I just think that Golden Guardians should have cut their losses and tried to back off. They were hoping, though, with some of this poke that they had landed, that they could actually turn things around. But as you notice, Closer is not on the same page with him. He's actually still farming his camp. If you're going to hard commit to defending, you need to have your jungler there when this dive begins. Imagine if he had a little bit of additional damage out, Closer could have killed off Nisqy, potentially even killed off Vulcan. So it was a bit of split comms, and then as they chased past the tower, Volibear TP comes through, they're able to recommit, Volibear turns off the tower with that ultimate, Licorice jumping right on top of it, Zven kiting back, and they do end up getting not only the tower, but the additional kills. So Golden Guardians, you know, have had a lot of, I think, right thoughts, and it has been looking pretty good for them, but this is the first one that really was wanting on the execution.
Absolutely, and thanks to the turret going down plus all the plates, Cloud9 have taken the gold lead back. And so frequently when Cloud9 get the first lead, they close the game out, and I want to see if it's going to be the same thing over and over again. First 12 minutes, not bad at all from Golden Guardians, but now we're 50 minutes in. Cloud9 in a bit of the driver's seat. Trinity Force done on Licorice, ready to kind of cement his pressure on this map, and let's see what mid-game shot calling looks like.
The other thing I really want to reinforce is that Golden Guardians has been playing, you know, these early minutes really well, and one play going wrong doesn't mean you should stop all plays, right? You need to continue going at them. You need to continue executing on this Nocturne TF engage, and if you don't do that, you are going to slowly just lose the game to Cloud9, who plays the map so damn well. So Golden Guardians hopefully are not dissuaded by one thing going wrong here and will continue to play aggressive, will continue to be proactive. Right now it is a trade of that Rift Herald for some damage down on that bottom turret. We'll see if Damonte can actually knock that down or not. It looks like he has it quite low.
Yeah, finishing off the wave right there on the mini-map. Gonna go right back up. No one is in position to defend this turret, so it will be bot lane outer traded for the Herald. Generally speaking, I would say that is positive to Golden Guardians. And now a fight in the top side. Nocturne shown up as well. Doesn't get stunned because the ulti was timed so well, and that means no follow through. Licorice survives the 1v2, weathering that Nocturne gank.
It is at least a flash forced on him, you know, so they get out the ult for ults, and they do force a flash, so not that bad, but obviously not what they were hoping for. And with that Nocturne ultimate down, Cloud9 has no fears to walk up, drop the Herald, take this mid lane tier 1, and unless multiple members show up, they are going to escort it in. They are going to get that second charge off and some more turret damage down. You can see Nisqy pushing up bot lane, feeling relatively safe as well, since the Nocturne ultimate has already been expended.
Sure, and measuring the impact of that Rift Herald, it's basically 75% of mid lane tier 2. The outer was going to drop every single time, right? They outnumbered them, they had the damage, you had, you know, a full IE plus Zerx on Zven. But yes, a giant chunk on mid lane tier 2 that can absolutely fall sometime later in the game. That can mean a lot of extra pressure. You can force Damonte to be even farther back in the base, have less range to find somewhere to go to join. So we'll see when that pays off the rest of the way down the line, but kind of keep that one in the back of our minds for if it does come through. Still a 1,000 gold difference. As you mentioned, Golden Guardians do still need to find their way into something aggressive. Licorice has not been the easy target. That ult makes him unstoppable as he's charging up, and that's a really good way to immune an Ornn CC or a Nocturne Fear and things like that. So we'll see what comes out.
Yeah, and it's kind of like an additional flash, right? You know, you can jump away. You know, it is that extra gap closer to get out of there. And Cloud9 now moving up towards this top lane turret, looking to pressure that. I do like the Triforce Rush here from the Volibear, and I do tend to think when you're playing these types of compositions with, you know, Trundle, Galio, Braum, you want the additional damage, so I think that going towards something like just the Death Dance next makes a lot of sense here for Licorice. We have been seeing you know, some mix-ups in the build. Some people do go more towards pure tank, but tend to think when you already have multiple frontliners, and especially since Blaber is not building any damage whatsoever, and the Braum never is going to deal damage, you should be going for a heavy damage build.
Alrighty, well right now, it's going to be mid lane clear as the recalls come out, and we wait to see what Volibear picks up. It's going to be towards tank. He's got the Negatron Cloak there. Could be Wit's End, theoretically. Doubt it, based on enemy comp, but it would be a component of that. Looks like it's going to be more heavy tank components, likely into Stone Plate is my leading guess here. I don't feel like it's going to be Abyssal Mask based on components, so...
Yeah.
I mean, based on game state, really. So almost certainly Stone plays second. I can't think of what else he would really want to go for.
Wit's End, some people build on Volibear. I'm not sure it makes sense this game. I don't really think it does. Yeah, because you're not really dueling TF. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and everything else is physical. So I would be pretty surprised if that is actually the buy. So I tend to think you're right. I think he is just going to go Stone Plate. And I guess he's saying, hey, I don't actually need the additional damage. You know, Aphelios is going to supply that. He wants to then, if you're going to go for this build, you just jump forward with your ultimate, use that as an engage, hop into the middle of everyone, you know, throw down the E, throw down the Stone Plate, and get an additional amount of health of you know, resistances and everything from that makes you incredibly tanky and tough to deal with. And if he can kind of dissuade the Ezreal from moving forward, you know, push back the Ezreal, push back the TF, that can keep Zven safe, and keeping Zven safe at the end of the day really is their win condition.
What a timing to lose Flash right now. Third Drake of the game spawning up. Cloud map is what it's going to be. Cloud Soul eventually. Drakes are split 1-1 so far. Cloud9, of course, with control. And huhi about to be in a lot of danger. Was walking over his own control ward, but now in a bit of a fight. Here comes the punch. Here comes the re-engage. Will this battle go well? They're looking to kill off the backline, and they will do so. The globals come across, and they kill Aphelios. Now how about the other half of it? Because Hauntzer is going to have to run backwards. And here comes Volibear. Licorice takes a bite out of Twisted Fate. And now it's going to be the re-engage. A big stun for huhi, but no way out. 3-1 in this fight so far. And the chase down on the Hauntzer. They're going to find that stun, and they're going to get themselves a kill onto Ornn. 4-1 on a team fight. They killed the Aphelios, but the follow-up damage still there for Cloud9.
Yeah, they did kill the Aphelios, but it cost them so much, and they got so low doing it that everyone else on Cloud9 was able to take over the fight afterwards, and Cloud9 are going to get another Dragon here, another team fight win. It's the right idea, again, here from Golden Guardians, but Cloud9 are equal to the task, able to answer that quite well. Zven was able to stay alive kind of just long enough. It was already, you know, this initial engage over onto huhi. They see the opportunity. Closer is there. In goes TF ult. In goes the Nocturne ultimate. But the exhaust buying some time, him kiting back. You know, look at the health bar on Nocturne as he dies. Look at the health bar on huhi, who's already chunked out. Then, as kind of expected, Volibear is just chasing out one of the damage dealers. He is jumping forward onto Damonte, looking to knock him down, and huhi goes back in for the re-engage, but it feels like a pretty wasted flash at that point, because even with the multi-man stun, you don't have anyone there to really follow up on it and win that fight.
Yeah, there wasn't really follow through. The rest of the C9 members were quite tanky. Obviously, Blaber keeps healing every time someone dies, so if he's just absorbing a bit of pressure and then showing back up, it's going to be fine. Closer into the Duskblade. Makes sense based on what he's trying to do here. Hex Flash over the wall. Can't find the stun that he wants. Couldn't get Zven. Vulcan wasn't a good target. And they will wait for the next round. TF ulti still 1 quarter to go till it's back up. Lich Bane completed, so the split push could be good. The single target burst can be good. So, you know, items still coming through, but Cloud9 up 2,000 gold. They've got that one Drake. They're, you know, solid 8.5 minutes from Soul. It's going to be quite a while till it happens, but something to keep in the back of your mind. And Wit's End, by the way, is going to be the buy, so it is more damage. Again, didn't super need MR. It's fine against Ornn. It's okay against Twisted Fate. He is in magic damage matchups, but is going for a single target damage.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things about Wit's End that is often overlooked, you know, in this 1v1 against Ornn is, you know, the self-healing once you start getting lower, right? You know, this item becomes very, very efficient. Below half health, you're going to start to heal, and it pretty much allows you to just completely shrug off any damage that Ornn can do to you once you have Conqueror stacked and the Wit's End healing coming through. So that is very nice, and attack speed obviously does help you take down towers pretty quickly, so maybe feeling like that is what he's going to look to do as he gets to show off that Wit's End damage here a little bit.
Yep, autos him a few times, gets the rest of the passive stacked up, and that's the time that Hauntzer lands a stun and disengages. And Licorice getting some autos off, and now it's Cloud9 going for the aggressive play onto Baron Nashor. Licorice can teleport when needed, and in fact has already done so. Baron already at 4,000 health. TF ult comes in. Can they show up in time? Will be Cloud9 peeling off. Nearsighted while also completely visible. Big chunk on a Licorice. Big vision disparity, of course, right? C9 can't see out. you can see them perfectly, and it allows you to really manipulate the fight, but those cooldowns are now gone. They did stop the Baron, they did bleed the summoner teleport out of Licorice, and it means a little bit of time mid lane to knock down a turret.
Yeah, they should just lose this turret, I think. You know, Aphelios is moving up, but it would be pretty risky for him to step forward by himself. Galio is moving over now, you know, trying to get in range of that ultimate, so that will allow Zven to step forward and defend the tower. But as you say, I mean, with the ultimates from TF and Nocturne on cooldown, Cloud9 really does dominate the team fights. So they can now look to play aggressive. They already had really good vision in that Baron area. And I wouldn't be shocked to just see them go and set up around the Baron once more. They could just start it again and say, all right, this time you don't have ults. And that's exactly what they're going to do. I love the shot calling here. It's going to have to be Hauntzer running all the way up because Hauntzer doesn't even have his teleport. So I think they're just going to get this straight up with no ults and no TP.
Well, they're going to do their very best. 6,000 health left on Baron. 4v5. FBI a bit low on mana. Lowers his damage output. Closer over the wall. The flash follow for Licorice has kite him down. Here comes a dive inside the pit. Big damage. Licorice has already knocked down the jungler. The re-engage could be good. Damonte is slowed. He'll be rooted in a second. They've almost killed Nisqy. The Baron can't quite finish it off as Zven takes down the opposing mid laner. So, now we have Hauntzer. It is 3 versus 5. Health bar is a bit low. Nisqy can finish his recall and teleport right back to the pit. Blaber stuck inside, taking some decent damage. Licorice CC'd up. Can they get the damage to kill Volibear as he heals and gets the shield yet again? Over the wall they go. They can't find the Ornn. He's CC chained, and Hauntzer can do nothing. So now it is 2 versus 5, and FBI is out of mana. It's a bad feeling. Blaber to be able to keep hitting this one up, looking for the poke, but FBI barely has spells left. Nisqy can zone out the squad. He's got way too much health to ever die here. He's going to push back FBI. Huhi finds a stun. That doesn't matter. Baron Nashor goes down, and so does the Golden Guardian support, as Cloud9 have a 5,000 gold lead in 24 minutes.
Cloud9 just know their limits so well, tracking cooldowns, understanding where they're strong, where they're weak. And that first Baron attempt really was just a bait to get out all the cooldowns from Golden Guardians. Once the ultimates were on cooldown, they reset, they heal back up, they push out their waves, they get vision, and guess where they go? Right back to the Baron before Golden Guardians is ready to fight again. As soon as Hauntzer showed bot lane, they know the major ultimates for teamfighting are on cooldown from Closer and Damonte. There's no way that the Ornn can get there in time. So sure, they couldn't just sit on the Baron straight, you know, from 100 to 0 and finish it, but they're able to look for turns, get kills, and continue to go back to that Baron over and over and over, forcing Golden Guardians to just kind of file in 1 or 2 at a time, securing the Baron. Now they're going to grab their 3rd dragon, and Cloud9 are right back in the driver's seat. First Baron is almost always where they will end the game. Very few teams are able to withstand the push from Cloud9. They've been so good at closing out pre-30, but Golden Guardians are in a pretty good spot to delay and to not just have the game end potentially here, as they have Damonte trying to split the map, trying to get people out of there. We'll see if he can escape.
Licorice spots him, gets the stun, gets a slow, gets most of his health bar, ults over the wall. This is going to be the fight now as Nocturne can show up as well. 3 versus 1. This has to be enough, and it is. No way to re-engage with Galio. Blaber, of course, spotted, and they know he is completely alone. Gold card there, decent amount of damage, but they can't get the follow.
He's just trying to stop the bases.
Cloud9, yes, are pushing into the bottom side of the map. So TF ults out. No, he's going to stay up there, actually. Doesn't leave, but the rest of the squad will, as top lane's going to be attacked, as bottom lost the inhibitor. But let's track everything that was gained. 2 turrets down to the bottom side, 1 kill, and a turret up at the top side on the Golden Guardian side. It seems pretty C9 favorite. I take turrets over kills, but if Damonte can keep going, maybe it equalizes that. Not going to be the case. Yeah, he's going to flinch and take the recall.
We've also got to remember, it wasn't an even situation to begin with. Cloud9 was heavily up in gold and had the Baron buff. So taking, you know, a slightly losing trade there as Golden Guardians is actually not bad. You know, if they just try to defend straight up 5v5, I think there's a good chance that they, you know, do lose even more and they get nothing back on the other side. So, you know, they're trying to be crafty here. They're trying to split the map to try to find ways to continue getting use out of those ultimates. And they are able to find one as, you know, they do kill off Licorice. They do get a tower, as you say, and are trying to continue exerting pressure on the map, making Cloud9 answer them instead of allowing Cloud9 just all this free time to group up and push and siege and get so much with the Baron buff. Because, I mean, look at this Baron buff. It's plus 780 gold. That's really not much at all.
Especially when you get 1,525 from killing Baron itself. So since the buff's been gained, okay, there you go. They've gotten it back. They got mid lane tier 2. Top tier 2 is under fire. It will die right around the time that Baron buff falls off, I believe. Technically, that one's not part of the Red Bull power play. But end of the day, you gotta say positive stuff here. Cloud9 have put themselves right back into a 5,000 gold lead. They're pretty much right where they started ever since that team fight went at the Baron pit, and they are knocking now at the inhibitor doors. Bot lane is open. Top and mid can easily be next.
Yep, they have full control at this point. We'll see what Golden Guardians can get done. But you can see Zven, stopping off for a lot of defensive itemization. Look at the last couple things he bought. QSS and a stopwatch. He could even probably finish a PD if he has enough gold here at that point, and then it's like, well, how do you really kill him? They are looking for Nisqy, who's just going to pop the ghost and likely walk out of here, but they want to keep chasing.
Comes in. Nice sidestep there. I think if that lands, they're going to be in range for Nocturne to show, and maybe that's enough follow-through because it is AP Galio, right? He just has a bit of bonus health, and the zone is for durability, so possibly could have been done. But again, good play, good emote, well done.
Yeah, good emote, definitely an important part of that. But
yeah,
I respect the try too, because it really wasn't much of a cost there for Golden Guardians. They expended the Ornn ultimate, but he has quite a bit of CDR, so that's a good third of the way back off cooldown anyway. So not too big of a deal, but Closer here could be in some trouble.
He's in danger. Dodge the slow, will not dodge the stuns though, and Closer is gonna get dropped out there. There was a ward in the jungle, and they pinched him down. That's a really meaningful cooldown. No Nocturne for 37 seconds. That's gonna be bottom inhibitor for sure. Golden Guardians clear as many waves as possible so they don't lose mid and top as a result as well. But there is no defense for the inhib. They can at most both.
Yep, and you can see Nisqy's actually going towards mid lane. He wants to try to set that up for the subsequent push after they take this down. But the poke has been pretty good for Golden Guardians. Just now, are they moving forward to actually finish this off? You can see they will knock that down, and the wave is going to be here from Nisqy. But they've got to be careful because Closer is spawning soon. He will be in range to actually use the ultimate. He has his flash and everything available. Didn't actually use that when he did go down. So Cloud9 has got to be a bit wary about that counter engage, and Hauntzer did push up that top lane, so looks like Cloud9 will just go and reset.
A couple power plays coming through. You mentioned the Phantom Dancer and all the defensive items out of Zven. Death Cap now in for Damonte. That is very important. Void Staff, you've got to assume, is next over here. Some healing reduction finally came through into FBI, but 35 seconds till Cloud Soul is up. Massive movement speed is in C9's future if they can win that fight, or even just a smite battle. Blaber is up a level right now over Closer, which gives him a slight edge onto that one, and you can see he's pretty tanky. Has his own stone plate here for the front line. Huhi gonna grab the top scuttle so that there's some vision around the potential soon Baron play. But again, Drake is in 12 seconds. Baron is at the same time. This might be Golden Guardians maybe trying to trade Baron for the Drake because they are not doing almost anything around the bottom side.
Yeah, we'll see if they look for that. We can see Vulcan moving up towards that Baron pit. He drops a ward there to try to keep eyes on it. It looks like they are just going to go for some sneaky plays. They have 3 men up in the top side. They're going to try to take down some towers, maybe try to go for something. They don't feel like they can actually contest it, but that is Soul. And it's not just about, that big burst of speed when you pop the ulti, as Nisqy's just going to keep chasing here.
He walked into 3 people, and he's like, yeah, this is fine. I'll take the 1v2. I'm going to kill Closer by myself, no matter what else is happening. TP comes down for the top laner. Closer is about to be solo killed. Here's Licorice right on top of him. It's like, yep, you got me. Just burn Destiny, teleport away. And you know what? Here's Baron, right? We lost our jungler. We showed you that our mid laner TP'd away. It's yours. Go have fun.
Yep, they're going to get everything. Cloud9 just unable to be contested across the map here. They have the Soul. They have the Baron buff now. 10% flat move speed is so nice for a lot of these champions, and that burst of movement speed is incredibly strong for Volibear. You hop in there, you're pretty much impossible to kite with that big burst of movement speed. And even for Zven, who already has all this great defensive itemization we talked about, you can use the R defensively to try to kite out away from that fear tether that Nocturne is going to throw down on you. And I just struggle to see any way that Golden Guardians really wins a 5v5 at this point. So it's going to be all about picks. They've got to continue to push side lanes, look for sectioned off members of Cloud9 and try to isolate and take them down, because if you hard engage into this, there's GA, there's Phantom Dancer, there's all of these tools, including the QSS, the Exhaust, Guardian, etc. You have to get through so much on Zven. I just can't realistically see them killing off Zven twice before everyone else gets run over.
And it does feel like the rest of the team is plenty damaging as well. Certainly Zven's going to have really good damage numbers in these team fights, but hey, you've got 24's Wits End, level 17 on Volibear, Nisqy 17 himself as well, 3 completed items. This is going to be deadly kind of no matter what. And the siege now begins in the mid lane. No real contest. That's going to be Blaber at half. Actually really good damage here. They nearly take him down, has to pop the ulti, pop Stone Plate. And now we'll see if they can find the re-engage. Couple of slows come down. When do we see the Ornn horn? The Braum shield got burned. That cooldown's missing. Damonte without Destiny for about 5 more seconds. But look at this. Blaber can walk into the jungle, take a bunch of hits down, and hey, his health bar is back to 3/4.
Yep, looking pretty good there. It was actually pretty clever. You could see Hauntzer was trying to run away from Blaber, who wanted to ult him. He actually searing charged away, and Blaber just barely got in range to actually get that big heal ultimate off of the tank to regen a lot of the health. And Zven is getting poked. You have to credit FBI here. Has been really on point with the Mystic shots, hitting a lot of those to dissuade Cloud9 from fully committing to this, but now Licorice pushing in mid lane. He can threaten that mid lane inhibitor. They are diving.
Oh, he's quick. The ults come down. They're on the turret, but the turret's now gone. Here comes the fight. Big stun of huhi. How about round 2? Is it going to be enough? Volibear in the back line. There's a knockup blocked away, and it's Damonte forced to run back. A nice taunt in the back line. FBI's got to be in danger as Closer drops, and Hauntzer is going to be the next one to die. The front line is gone, and Damonte's next up. 3 auto attacks kill him off. FBI is slowed. The chase through. It's going to be enough. A double kill, and then a shutdown in for the jungler as well. Cloud9 going to complete the aces. He tries to run back to the fountain. He might just live, but he won't. The ace comes through, and Cloud9 start exactly how we expected. A 4-0 run in the first 2 weeks of the LCS 2020 summer split.
And it